So I saw the How to Train Your Dragon live action film in theaters. Now I was really excited for this. I love the animated How to Train Your Dragon movies. To me, it's one of the best trilogies. And also, yeah, the same director who directed those animated movies. So that made me feel, a little more confident that hopefully this will be an entertaining, great movie. My overall thoughts on this, I thought it was a good movie. Not great, not spectacular. You know, the animated movie, the first one, because we make of that one, I do think that one does a couple things better than the animated movie. Now, one of the nitpicks I do have about this one, and this is one of the problems when you try to do a remake, is that this is one of those remakes that's really close to a shot for shot remake of the animated movie, and it didn't extremely bother me, but it is a nitpick where I do feel like they played it a little safe with this live action remake. Like, I'm one of those people with remakes where it's like I don't have a problem to change stuff as long as you change stuff in a way that's interesting, what adds to the story of characters, or what execution ends up being really done well for me when I'm watching the movie. And I do think this movie plays it just a little too safe. Like the best remakes of animated movies that, in my opinion, are the best examples that did it like the best job of it is the Aladdin remake, Jungle Book remake, and the Cinderella remake, which I think those are all great examples of how to do remakes, where they add stuff that actually is interesting and to me adds to the characters and story in a way that's just compelling and interesting, while keeping what you love about those animated movies. And look, I'll say this: even though if I had to be a nitpick with this movie, and that's one of the things that stops it from being great, is that I don't think this movie is like the Lion King remake though. Lion King remake felt like a soulless cash grab movie to me, and every movie's a cash grab. Like every movie's made to make money, but there was just no soul in that movie with Lion King. And also the fact that Lion King remake was you had like it was all animals, and you can't really you know lions don't really emote emotion. So like with this, you have human characters in here though. So that those are things I kind of where I'll be like, even though it's a shot for shot, really close to shot for shot remake, it's not soulless like the Lion King remake, and you do have human characters in it. And I do feel like there was some heart put into this movie. But let me get into the negatives first. The one negative, like I said, it's a little too safe. Another negative thing with this live action How You Train Your Dragon movie is that it does start off clunky to me with the narration at the beginning, and it takes a little bit to get going. Personally, for me, like it was falling really flat at the start of this movie, and just really clunky how they would get you into the world and the characters with Hiccup narrating that character, the main character, and it just felt clunky to me. It was like kind of for me a little sloppy at the beginning. How it's like just clunky. How it's getting you into this world. It just took a little bit for it to find its heart for me. Like when you start to see Toothless and the actor who plays Hiccup Saltbine, that's where the movie to me gets going. That's why I was like, okay, it's finding its heart now. But for the first chunk of this movie, I did find it to be clunky and just kind of like flat. So it takes a little bit to get going. And then another negative thing with two more negative things with this movie for me is that the actress who played Astro, which I'm sure she's a great actress. She's fine in this movie. Like I prefer the animate version of Astro, Hiccup's love interest in the animated movie. And honestly, I think the love story between Hiccup and Astro, the Viking girl character in the animated movie, Hiccup's love interest, I felt like their love story was much better in the animated movie where I bought into it. And I just prefer the animated version of that character. The actress who plays Astro in this, um, Nico Parker, like she just kind of was flat for me in this with this version of the character. And honestly, her and the actor who plays Hiccup, I just didn't buy the chemistry between them. Like when she decides to like him in this version, it felt like it was an abrupt change. Like they just had to do it because that's what happened in the animated movie. It didn't feel like owned to me because it like they the one you like I'll say the one new thing they added is that they give this whole thing in the movie with Astro where, like, in this version, she doesn't like Hiccup because he's the son. He's like the son of the chief, the Viking chief. His his father, and she's like she didn't grow up with anything, and they kind of add that little story element, but it felt like she just like that just gets like dropped abruptly, and she just starts like Hiccup, but it just didn't feel earned to me. It felt like a abrupt Swiss. That like it didn't feel earned to me like in the animated movie, and just overall, I find the animated version of Astro to be much more interesting, and the love story in the animated movie to work much better. She was just kind of flat for me in this. The actress who played Astro, just overall, I prefer the animated version over the live action version. And then another negative thing for me with this movie is that Hiccup's friends, the other four kids, I like their characters really didn't do much for me in this movie. Like I love the animated version of their characters; they were really funny in the animated movies. But when they try to do jokes with them in the live action version, the jokes just felt very flat with the Hiccup's friends in the live action version, where the characters they won't give in anything to the characters, and when they try to be funny in this version, just the jokes won't land in for me. So like for me, like the animated version to me, I feel like Hiccup's friends, the four kids in the animated version, they were much more funnier, and I just like those versions more. Same with Astro. I just like to character more in the animated version than I did in the live action version. And I just think the chemistry between the actress who played Astro and the actor who plays Hiccup in live action just wasn't there personally for me, and it just didn't feel earned when she like switches to liking him. Now, the good things about this movie is that I do think once you see Toothless and Hiccup bond and this movie finds its heart, I do think it gets to that point. This movie does get better as it goes along, and it does find its footing in its heart. And I think the actor who plays Hiccup does a great job in this movie. He was in a movie called Monster Summer, which I think was a decent little movie. I believe his name is Mason Deems. I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong, so I'm bad with names. But the actor who was in Monster Summer, he plays Hiccup in this version. I thought he was great in this. I thought he did a great job of making us feel like Hiccup from the animated movie. Like he captures the awkwardness of the character and him seeing his character grow and how he's like an outsider. Like he captures all that with the animated version while adding while feeling like his own spin on the character. So I think this actor does a fantastic job. Like to me, him and Toothless were the heart of this movie. When it gets to them bonding is where I felt like the movie found its footing. And Jalal Butler, who plays Hiccup's father, Stack, he voiced the character in the animated movie, so he's great in this movie. You know, I've always really liked Jalal Butler, and I think he just gives a great performance in this live action version. I mean, he voiced the character in the animated movie, so I was happy to borrow him over to live action. And the scenes with him and the actor who plays Hiccup, I thought they had great chemistry where you really brought them as father and son. And I think the moments with him and Jalal Butler between those two characters were some of my favorite moments, along with him and Toothless. Because I thought there was a lot of this great emotional moments between the actor who plays Hiccup and Jalal Butler who plays a father when it comes to father and son relationship in this movie. I thought it did a great job of capturing what you loved about that relationship in the animated movie, where Hiccup's trying to prove himself to his father, and his father doesn't understand where he's like understand his son, and you see there's like a fisting between the relationship between them, and I think there's a great job of capturing that like the animated movie. I think the two actors I think have a lot of just great scenes in this version when it comes to the father and son relationship. And then another one for me is Nick Frost. I thought Nick Frost was great as Stark's buddy in this movie. The Viking buddy with the wooden foot, and I think he lost the character doesn't have a hand either in the animated version when he has like a hammer. I thought Nick Frost was great as Stark's buddy in this version. Like he did a great job. I felt like that was the character from the animated version. Like to me, those three I think were perfectly cast. The actor who played Hiccup, Gerard Butler, who voiced the character, so you already know he's going to be great. And Nick Frost, I thought they were like the best. the best parts casting wise in this movie. So I thought Nick Frost was great in this movie. I really liked his version of this character. It felt like the animated version, and I feel like his own version. Another positive thing with this movie is that I think the dragons look great in this movie. I love how the dragons look. They look like the animated version, but they look more scarier because it's live action. Because when you look at dragons in animation, they look more cute, but in live action, they look obviously much more scary because it's in the real world. So I thought the CGI on the dragons looked great. I loved all the flying scenes. And I just think the overall CGI in this movie looked great to me. Like I didn't find like any point of CGI would bore me out or anything, and I think the third act is like great when it gets to like when you see the big dragon and Toothless fighting the big dragon. I think the acting was great. So I thought the CGI was great. Those three actors I think did a great job. I thought the father-son relationship was handled really well in this. I thought the Toothless and Hiccup's relationship was handled really well in this, and I thought Nick Frost was great as Stoich's buddy from the anime movie. I thought Nick Frost did a great job as that character. So, and like I said, I think it captures some of the heart of the anime movie because you have the same director back. It takes a little bit to get going, but I do think when he gets to that point, it does capture some of the heart of the anime movie. Oh, and then just to let fans know, there is something at the end, but you don't need to stick around for it. There is something after the credits, a quick short scene, but it's a scene from like a shorter version of a scene from earlier in the movie where Hiccup's looking through that book about information about different dragons. So it's to me it's a pointless like post credit scene. It doesn't like it's not like it ties into a joke. Like it's not anything funny at the end. That sets up the sequel, which I know they have coming out in 2027, I believe. So you don't need to stick around after the credits for this movie. It's not worth it scene. But overall, I thought this was solid. It was a solid good time when it comes to How to Train Your Dragon remake. I thought this was one of the better ones, but it's not one of the best ones. Like I said, I wouldn't put it up there with like Aladdin's remake or Jungle Book's remake or Cinderella's remake, which I think are the best remakes. And I also love the Cruella Emma Stone movie, but that's more of a reimagine. It's not really a remake. It's not remaking 101 Dalmatians. But I think when it comes to just remakes, I don't think this reaches those remakes. But I do think this is better than Lilo and Stitch personally for me. Like Lilo and Stitch remake I thought was fine. But I do think this is better than that. So it's kind of like it's like in the middle there. It's like it's good, it's solid. This How to Train Your Dragon remake. It's one of the better ones. But there were some things that stopped it from reaching that level of great for me. Like it's not up there with the animated movies in my opinion. But I would recommend checking this out in theaters. I think if you're a How to Train Your Dragon fan, you're gonna have a fun time. I think if you've never seen an animated movie, I think you'll be entertained by this movie. If you're looking for just a good time at the theaters. So that's my thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon remake. Until next time, movie fans.